So let me do a formal introduction. Hi, Sam. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you.
So
Hi,
let me
everyone.
let me introduce Sam. So Sam is the founder and director of Gaia Workplace Wellbeing. You've got 20 odd years experience of death and bereavement, working through a crime scene investigator as well, and personal experience. So I'm delighted to have Sam along with us today as we delve into this topic around, navigating our financial well-being and the links that it has when we're dealing with bereavement, trauma and loss. So welcome, Sam.
Thank you very much, Justine.
You're
It's
welcome.
a really important area of work for me. As Justine said, I've got sort of 20 years of experience, worked for the police, so an awful lot of dealing with trauma and death and the reasons behind that. And I've also had a lot of sort of trauma and death in my own sort of personal life as well. So this is a really important topic for me. I'm really pleased to be here and be able to help.
And we are going to share a personal story with you in a little while to kind of bring home some of the challenges that we face. Because let's face it, we're all going to have to deal with this at some point along life's journey. I've got a couple of poll questions which we're going to kick off with in a moment, so please do get involved. But there are lots of challenges when we're trying to navigate, dealing with this and the financial implications of this as well. So planning is really important, but also practical steps of knowing what to do and where to go.
So the first one is we're just really interested to know what you think the average cost of dying in the UK is. So this is about the cost of the funeral, all of the professional fees, all the other bits and pieces that wrap around it. How much do you think that costs us in the UK? So we've started off there, and the cost is obviously going to be one of the biggest challenges. And then whether or not people have got a will, and a lot of this comes down to talking about money and preparing. There's a few sort of things to sort of explore around this, but I mean, if we look at in the UK last year, we had 581,000 deaths, and 15, in fact, nearly 16% of those were people of working age, which means that they probably left behind dependents, a partner. And if we're looking at only 44% of people having a will, that's a lot of people that are then picking up the pieces following perhaps an unexpected death of a loved one, and they haven't been made for this provision. And then they're perhaps left in this situation where they can't get access to money, which they thought they were going to have, whether being in property or in bank accounts. And then on top of their grief and their bereavement, they're then struggling with these financial worries as well. So as much as it's difficult to talk about death and dying and the planning of it, we really do need to start doing that. There's so much around that. And the one stat I want to bring out from that slide there is that 27% of people paying for a funeral last year had to use a credit card in order to do that. And I know I've seen a couple of comments in the chat about people not having, I can't even afford to die. I mean, it's a lot of money to find. And if you're then going through that grief and the bereavement, and you've got this monthly reminder of that in a credit card bill, that is going to exacerbate the feelings of grief and bereavement. It's going to make it difficult and challenging, and it's going to sort of bring us in and perhaps lead on to what we call complex bereavement. So it's a huge thing. It really is. But I think the finances around it and talking about money is one of the biggest challenges that we have, specifically in the UK and with our culture.